Good evening. It's Debbie Ziskowski. I won't call myself your favorite realtor, but I certainly think that I have got a bit of levity on my side tonight. So I've got a great topic for living and loving Beach to Bay. It's how to fire your realtor. So you may think that this is humorous and it's going to be funny, but it also sadly is part of our daily lives when we are buying and selling homes. It's how do we fire our realtor? They just don't get us. They don't listen. They don't respond. They don't answer the phone. So you know what I'm going to ask you. If you're really going to laugh through this video, then I hope you're going to hit that subscribe button. I hope you're going to sign up for more. And if you don't hit the subscribe button, stay till the end and maybe pop in again on another video. So let's go. So you dreamed of the perfect home. You dreamt of that fabulous beach property. You've been dreaming about coastal Delaware. And what did you get? Well, you didn't get the perfect home. You didn't even get anything that resembled coastal Delaware. You got farmland in the middle of Kansas. For gosh sakes, how could they be that far off what you were looking for? Coastal Delaware, farmland in Kansas. I just don't get it. So this is a business which really takes incredible listening skills. And I have to admit, I love to talk, but I have absolutely sharpened my listening skills when it comes to being a great realtor. But they didn't listen. Okay, so you fired them. You picked up the phone, you told them, you're out of here, you're just not making it happen. What do you do next? I just might know a great realtor. That was a wink, I don't wink well. I just might know a great realtor in coastal Delaware who could really connect all the dots for you. So if you're watching this, you may have already fired your realtor. You may be considering firing your realtor, but you may be even thinking through, is it as bad as I think it is? So let's ask ourselves some questions. You wanted a beach house. They recommended a log cabin in the mountains. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You wanted a view of the water, or you wanted to be able to at least get to the water and view the water. They found you something with a swamp in the backyard. Swamp, beach to bay, doesn't certainly make a lot of sense to me. They send you listings that make no sense. You've asked for 4 bedrooms, maybe 2.5, 3.5, powder rooms, bathrooms, restrooms, whatever you call them. And they send you a property that's got 10 bedrooms, a zillion powder rooms, and an astronomical list price. They're not listening, okay? So if they're sending you absurd and really out of the galaxy or realm of possibility listings, then you know they're just not listening. They're just hitting a button, they're just putting you on an automated search or an automated email campaign, and they are nothing more than maybe an AI bot, okay? I am not an AI bot. I am as real, and as my children occasionally say, oh, Mama, you are really real. So how do you fire your realtor? So first off, I want to say, and this is the somber part of this video, okay? I cannot tell you what to do. I cannot tell you to disengage, to fire your realtor, to walk away from that relationship. I can certainly tell you what I can offer you as a great buying and selling, agent, and what I can do for you, and best in class, client services and all of that. What the first thing you want to do is you really want to look at that contract you signed. It's called a buyer agency agreement or a seller or a listing agreement. You really want to look at, what did I agree to with dates? Did I agree to 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, a year? I recently had a client that really wanted to work with me, but they had signed a buyer agency relationship for a year with a realtor that was really not assisting them in all ways. And the only way they could exit out of that agreement would have been to pay that realtor compensation and then ultimately be responsible for, enlisting my support. And we'll talk about compensation a little bit later. So the first thing is I am not telling you to fire your realtor. What I'm telling you to do is to really dig into the paperwork. They might have put it in a pretty folder. They might have handed it to you. They might have told you to sign here. Really make sure when you're signing those buyer agency agreements, you're asking, what am I committing to? How long? And do I have an exit ramp? Do I have the ability, if we just don't work well, if we don't mesh together, I will be honest with you. Everyone that I meet truly doesn't end up working with me, but by and by they know what they're getting. I'm upfront, I'm honest, I'm candid, I'm direct, I'm extraordinarily truthful. I over communicate, I answer the phone, I answer the text, I answer the email, I even answer smoke signals. The other thing, and this is really going to sound, again, a little maybe counterintuitive, but if you've had a really unpleasant experience, leave a professional review. Because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want someone else, who may be a little bit naive or uninformed to also have the same experience that you've had. So I'm not suggesting that you say or do anything that is disingenuous or unprofessional, but it is absolutely well within your right to leave a Google review for the experience that you've had. I'm really proud that, most, if not all of my Google reviews are extraordinarily positive. I'm always asking for more because it certainly is very good in this industry and good for me personally to have clients say positive things about me, because obviously that lifts me up in the Google stratosphere, and then people can find me and want to work with me. But again, it is well within your right, and I would say it should be an expectation of everyone to leave a review for the services rendered. And if the services weren't rendered well, that's unfortunate, but you do have the right to state that as long as what you're saying is accurate, honest, truthful, and your depiction of what took place between you and that realtor relationship. So I'm really going to tell you what I think are the 5 traits of an amazing agent, okay? First and foremost, they've got to know how to communicate. And, while it has taken me, I think I'm on to video number 21 or 22, I finally gotten very comfortable in front of a camera. Well, more comfortable. I don't think I'll ever be completely comfortable. But I will tell you that I really do take a lot of pride in my communication. I call, I text, I email, and all kidding aside, I will send smoke signals if necessary. So, I really do take a lot of pride in my level of communication, and I will opt into the best form of communication that works for you. If you want phone calls, if you want texts, if you want emails, if you want smoke signals, just let me know what you want. And also a cadence, what's good for you? Is it every other day? Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Is it once a season? Is it once a quarter? You as the potential client, and ultimately I would love to think that anyone listening to this is a possible potential client of mine. But you really dictate what level of communication you want and what mode of communication works best for you. Local market knowledge. So I would not be hosting Debbie Runs Beach to Bay and living and loving Beach to Bay and asking you to subscribe and asking you to consider, receiving updates when I drop more content. If I wasn't confident that the content that I am sharing is appropriate, it is applicable, it's on point, it's relevant, and it just continues to be more so. So all tongue in cheek, today is about how do you fire a realtor and find another great realtor out there. But really what you want is someone who's going to communicate with you, but then are they going to know what they're communicating about? I've owned my home here for over 10 years, but I also vacationed here for a decade or more before that. So coastal Delaware is my adopted home, but it is a community and a lifestyle that I've come to not just love and embrace, but also know inside and out. So I can give you the good, the bad, and a little bit of that ugly. Remember, when I call ugly, the travel and the traffic challenges that you're going to experience from Memorial Day to Labor Day. I consider that a little bit of the ugly. Okay, negotiation superpowers. So what I bring to real estate is a 30+ year, highly accomplished and really executive level retail career where I was negotiating all the time. So I bring that ability and knowledge to negotiate on your behalf, to get you, the best deal, to get you the best incentives, to really find, identify, and literally uncover what you are looking for in a home, whether you are buying or selling. So on either side, I would call those navigation superpowers. The other thing I do is I do listen. And again, my children aren't present. They would tell you, well, mom has gotten better at listening. Well, as a mother, sometimes it's not about listening, it's about telling and kind of, guiding and supporting. But I've definitely gotten very intuitive about listening. The other thing I do is I pick up on people's cues, whether it's their facial cues, whether it's body language, whether it's their excitement and joy at a certain community, and or their disappointment and somewhat aloofness at another community. So I listen well. And lastly, I take a lot of pride in my reputation. So I am known for someone who is going to work extremely hard on your behalf because this is my vocation. I don't get compensated until we get to the settlement table. So whether you are selling your home or we're helping you buy a new home, all that I do up until that point, it's not obviously gratis, but I am not being rewarded for it from a standpoint of compensation until we get you to the table. So until you've made that decision to sell your home for a specific price or to buy your new home for a specific price. So if you think about it, the end result really is where the compensation reward comes in for me. So I've got to make sure that my reputation right up until the time we're signing and literally, things are being dispersed. My reputation is extraordinarily important to me. I take a lot of pride in that. And I really hope that it's something that you would look into, review, understand, and want to work with me because of those, 5 really essential skills of a great realtor. Final thoughts: fire with confidence and hire with purpose. Now, in a perfect world, you would have hired with purpose from the onset, but it doesn't always happen, okay? I can honestly tell you that the amount of time someone goes back and uses the realtor that handled their first or maybe even their second or third transaction is really quite rare. Sometimes realtors, and I would include myself in that mix, we may not continue to stay in contact with those clients. Sometimes someone moves and leaves the area, and or realtors move and leave the area. I've shared with many of you that I raised my family outside of Philadelphia, born and raised in Connecticut. I've lived in Maryland. I've lived in, I've really traveled up and down the East Coast. Now I consider coastal Delaware home. I'm also licensed in the state of Maryland. But I think it's really important to hire with purpose. So you've got to fire because you've had an unpleasant or disappointing experience, but then you're going to hire with purpose. So if you're looking for a rock star realtor, I'd love to think that you're not going to look any further. But even if it's not me, because there are a myriad of fabulous realtors in coastal Delaware, coastal Maryland, etc., but you've got to find a rock star. So find a rock star, hire the rock star, and make it happen. So if you like this kind of sarcastic, witty, video with a little bit of levity, you know what the ask is. Hit the subscribe button. You don't want to subscribe. You don't want to commit to, getting updates when I drop new content. Just hang around because there's probably another video coming in the not too distant future. So there you go. Fire with confidence, hire with purpose. Looking for a rock star realtor? Look no further. Debbie, living and loving Beach to Bay. I live here, I play here, I thrive here, and I work here.